What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat. Today, in the world of indie games... Okay, this isn't an indie game. This is by Paradox, alright? This is not an indie game. We're taking a little break from indies to check out the new Green Planet expansion to Surviving Mars. DLC, I guess? Like, it's hard to tell whether this is an expansion or a DLC because it is actually kind of beefy. Like, it adds a lot of stuff to the game, but if it's enough stuff to be an expansion, I don't know. So I'm going to leave that up to interpretation for all of you. But we're going to check out the new stuff that the game has added with this DLC. So we've got the Terraforming initiative right here. So it's a little bit different. The goal of the game at this point is actually to turn Mars into a lush land like Earth, where there's lots of grasses, maybe some animals running around doing animal things. And we do that by going with the Terraforming initiative. Now, every single faction in this game can do terraforming. It's just that the Terraforming initiative starts out with all the tools they need to start up a little bit early. As far as deciding who we want, we can go with the Geoengineer. We get bonus prefabs for doing that. Like, it's okay to do the Geoengineer, but honestly, like, Terraforming Mars is kind of a late game thing anyways, and so I find a lot of the bonuses that they have, I'd rather just go with other things and terraform as I go along. But for the face of this video, we're going to do all new content all the time so you can see what's up. So with the Terraforming initiative, we get all terraforming technologies at half off. Our forestation plants do not need power. We can import RC dozers from the start, and we start out with Martian vegetation, and we start out with interplanetary projects, which means we can start terraforming way earlier than everybody else in the game can. Like, way, way earlier. The interplanetary projects, basically there's these little expeditions you can send your guys on now. I don't know if that's new with this DLC or if that was in before, but basically there's like planetary missions you can take where you send out a rocket ship to go do like mini missions that give you bonuses and whatnot. At this point, some of those have been converted on over to start terraforming Mars instead of just giving you resources or whatever. The Geoengineer is a new commander profile. Seeds import costs are reduced by half, so that's good. Bonus prefabs, we've got the GHG factories and forestation plants. The GHG factories, I think they just they fart all kinds of carbon emissions into the air to create an atmosphere on Mars. Because Mars does not have a geomagnetic field around it. It's the insides of Mars, the actual core is dormant, and what causes the magnetic field is the convection of magma inside of the planet. It kind of moves in kind of a yin-yang formation, just rotating. And that creates the field that protects us here on Earth from being destroyed by cosmic rays. It's a major problem. It's one of the reasons why I don't think colonizing Mars will ever actually happen, is the amount of radiation on the surface of Mars is pretty gnarly. I think it's like the average... God, I'd have to look it up. It's been a while. But I have to look it up, and I think like the average human being is exposed to like 64 millirads a year or something like that. And then like from electronics and the sun or whatever, I may be way off with these numbers, so maybe I should just stop this conversation here. But either way, the amount of radiation you get by spending a year on the surface of Mars is the equivalent of like 25 to 30 CAT scans. It's pretty bad. It's not good. It's definitely going to cause some genetic issues. So we've got a couple of prefabs inside of our rocket. We've got some drone hubs. We got a fuel refinery. We got a couple of Stirling generators. Sounds good to me. I'm okay with all that. We've got the RC dozer over here. The RC dozer is cool. And in the interest of showing you guys the RC dozer, I'm going to take it. But normally I would get rid of it and I would get an Explorer or a Transport. That's just me personally. But in the interest of showing you the dozer, I'm going to bring it, okay? Because I love you that much. I'm going to add an extra drone on right there. We got 4 orbital probes. Hopefully we get lucky and we find water. This is going to be the Nerd Castle 1. Send it. Alright, so now we got to find a spot where we want our colony to be. I'm not trying to like try hard super hard on this playthrough. I do have a hard mode playthrough going like in my own time where I'm playing as like the hardest nation, the hardest start, like a nasty location. But I'll be honest with you, it's a little much. Like, it's not, like, awful. Like, you can still, like, make it work, but you just gotta be aware that you're gonna be missing things sometimes. I think I could probably live with something like that right there. Dust storms suck, but I think we can deal with it. Meanwhile, we've got lots of metals, lots of concrete, and lots of water, which long-term is actually gonna help you out quite a bit. Let's start the game on off, and we'll see if we can get neck deep in Mars here. Let's do some Martian exploration and maybe turn this into a lush green planet, shall we? Everyone at Mission Control is impatient to see the rocket touching down and unloading its precious cargo, our remotely controlled eyes and hands on the red planet, the drones and rovers. Our goal is to secure a foothold for humanity by building the first Martian dome. This daunting endeavor will allow the brave pioneers, the founders, to settle on Mars and prove that the colony is sustainable. But until then, we need to make sure that the colony has enough construction resources, water, oxygen, and power. Alright, so here we are. We've got a reasonably flat expanse. Not like a crazy flat expanse, but we'll kind of scan around and see what happens. So the only thing they've exposed to us so far is this little tiny concrete deposit, huh? Not the best start that I've ever seen. This is kind of a rough spot to be in. Let's close down some tabs real fast. I got too many things bouncing around. So we got our breakthrough right there. Let me go ahead and I'm going to set up my research first. Starting out, we have bulldozer tech. Now, we already have that, though, so, like, why worry about it? We have water reclamation, which is pretty good. I like the water reclamation system. I tend to install it just about everywhere there's space for it. Low-G high-rise. That's going to be an apartment building that allows us to store, I think, 24 colonists in a building instead of 14. But it gives you less, I guess, comfort. And we've got ourselves the Explorer AI, which makes our RC Explorers generate 100 more research per soul, which is pretty good. This game runs at an accelerated rate. I don't know what a soul is. I assume that that's one revolution of the sun by Mars. But, like, in this game, people age by, like, 5 years every single day. I don't know exactly how it works, but you just gotta get used to it. Like, the kids grow up in, like, 3 or 4 days, then they go teenager for a little while, then they're adults for, like, 10 or 15 days, and then they're old. Like, it's odd because, like, a Martian day is only, like, an hour and a half longer than our day. Like, it's not that long. It's not that much longer. Like, our day is 24, and I think it's, like, 25.6 or something like that on Mars. It's not that much longer, anyways. The first research I want is we'll probably go... Most of these are pretty lackluster. At the beginning of the game, your researches are randomly generated. And so, like, you can end up with a completely different chain every single game. I mean, I think they're divided into tiers. So, like, down to here, it's all the same technologies, but they're in different orders. I'll probably start with Explorer AI and maybe water reclamation. And then we'll probably get extractor amplification just because the physics tree has some of the best stuff in the game. And so even if there's a bad technology right there, I like to start early on it so that I can get down further and get the good stuff. So we'll just kind of queue those up for right now. We got some probes. We can sort of like look around and see what we can find. So far, though, we're getting hosed. Not a lot of great options. I'm not in love with what we have going on right now. It's a little slim. We do have underground rare metals right there, but they kind of suck. Let's go ahead and queue up our scans. This is a rough map. This is Bad Luck Central. Okay. Well, start up with scans. I don't really care what you scan, just like scan something. And then, I mean, we do have a good spot for a dome right there, I guess. We could put the dome right there so that it gets the vista and we get the comfort bonus. But yeah, so far I'm not really pleased with this starting spot. This starting spot's kind of trashy. And let's go ahead and we will go right there, because at least it gets us water. I mean, that's the main thing. As long as you have water at the beginning, you can make do, and you can kind of like cut your way through. If you don't have water at the beginning, you're going to have to spend a lot of money getting hygroscopic vaporators or whatever they're called. Congratulations, you've successfully made the first step towards turning Mars into a lush green heaven. You've unlocked the seeds resource that can be imported from Earth. Yeah, so basically seeds have their own storage. That's all it is saying right there is seeds have their own storage and they're used by buildings to generate atmosphere. That's all that they're saying right there. If you wanted to see what the ultimate goal is with terraforming, you're trying to fill up this meter right here. And so you want to have atmosphere. You want to have the temperature adjusted because obviously being at minus 15 all the time is not great. You need to get water onto the planet somehow. But once you start doing this, you're going to start having disasters. And so, like, in the process of terraforming Mars, things are going to go wrong before you get it into the shape that you want to have it. Just like we have natural disasters here on Earth, you're going to start having natural disasters on Mars once you start actually terraforming it and turning it into a lush green place. And this is vegetation right here, which is how many, like, funguses and trees and lichens and all of that fun stuff you've managed to land on the planet. So there's our RC dozer, pretty cool. What we can work on down here with the RC dozer, actually, in my opinion, is I think we should be able to, is that outside the, yeah, I was going to say, we should be able to do something like that right there. Like, it's probably going to, here, let me undo that real fast. It's probably going to overlap the projects here a little bit, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of What is the blocking object? Oh, it's because we've got that thing right there. I don't know what this is, but I think it's like an oil derrick or something. You go work on landscaping for right now. You guys should probably not work on that. Landscaping is not the task that I would put in front of you. Kind of in rough shape right now. We actually don't have any metals that are accessible. Weak, bro. Alright, well, I can fix that. I can fix that. This is a tough start. It's a real tough start. Give me an RC transport. We're going to go ahead and launch that right now so that we don't end up with too much idle downtime. And while we wait for that to arrive, we're just going to set up the basics over here. And so we're going to go with a power line right there, just to start, like, the basis of our base. That thing is already 4% of the way over here. I'm pretty sure that when he flattens, we should be alright on this side. However, he is going to generate a lot of waste rock by doing this. I think this entire project is apparently going to create, like, 180, or it's going to create 882.7 waste rock. And in fact, that was an underestimate. But basically, I wanted him to kind of get rid of this part right here. It's going to take him a while to get it done, but we've got anomalies right there. That's probably okay. Where's the anomaly at? Oh, we've got a key technology right there, a breakthrough. Okay. That's probably good. This is going to generate a ton of waste rock, but he should be able to get it done pretty fast. I think he's working on that big stone right there, which is the thing that I wanted out of the way personally. Let's just wait a minute while we get our... Actually, no, we won't wait a minute. We'll actually be proactive. So I'm going to put in some universal depots down here. There we go. Universal depots. We now have storage. This is a very, very difficult start, by the way. I don't want to, like, overwhelm you if you're new to the game. But this right here is a pretty nasty start. I don't know if we're going to survive this. We're going to give it the best go that we possibly can, but given the limited technology we currently have, let's go ahead and drop the Explorer down right there, which will be good because then I can start gathering some of the things I need in order to get some of these projects done. We'll also go ahead and salvage the pod. But what this guy does right here is he gathers up resources. So what I want you to do is just gather metal from over here, and then you're going to bring it back and drop it off at the stockpile. They're probably going to use this 5 metal right here to create this little power line that we've got established. But by and large, oh man, I'm hoping he gets rid of that thing right there. If we can get rid of that, I'm okay with whatever else happens from that point forward. All this waste rock is going to have to get moved around at some point, and that's also going to kind of suck. But one thing at a time, I suppose. I think getting deep scanning and deep drilling is going to be really, really important. And since that's entirely based upon luck for us right now, we may or may not get those technologies. That's going to lead to problems in the future. Like, this is a very, very barren area. Like, normally what you would see around here is you would definitely see, like, water, metals, concrete, expensive metals. Like, you would find good stuff over here if this was a good starting zone. And instead, it's very sporadic and spread out. We do have a lot of research points, but we're not going to be able to capitalize on those until we bring the RC Explorer out. Oh, cool. They killed off that giant rock over there. Hell yeah, dude. That has apparently produced, like, thousands. How much metal you got over there? Not enough. Alright, well, keep at it. I mean, we've got stuff to accomplish down here, so I don't really mind too much. Did you finish off that job already? You already flattened that? Dude, my guy. What a champ. What an absolute champ. I didn't expect him to finish that off like that. Thing can hold a lot of rock. It holds 85 waste rock? That's nutty. That's a lot of waste rock. All right, bring that back to base. We need metal, and we need metal, like, now. We need the metal! Let's go ahead, and we're going to put a concrete extractor over here. We'll connect that right there, and then we're going to need a little bit of power so that we can start collecting concrete, which is going to be one of our more important resources during this playthrough. I actually don't hold out a lot of hope for the way that this is going to go. This is a really bad start. This is like a next level bad start. Good lord. We just have like nothing. Nothing at all. I'm hoping we find something good right here. If this spot turns out to be okay, this is long-term sustainable. But if this spot turns out to not be very good, we have issues. It's 83% scanned right there. You guys are doing your thing over on this side. We got a little bit of metal and some machine parts going out to right there. We are going to need access to power. Now, it's going to be your choice when you want to deploy the Sterlings. I personally don't use a lot of Sterlings early on in the game, simply due to the fact that Sterlings need a lot of maintenance and you'll eat through your polymers pretty quickly. I don't need to know about opening up the build menu, thank you. I know how to do that. I appreciate your concern, game, but I know how to do that. And the other thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to flatten out this spot right here. There's kind of no ifs, ands, or buts about it, so you get over here and make this happen, man. Make it happen, guy. That thing actually does terraforming tasks really quickly. I think I may have starkly underestimated this vehicle. It's actually, if you land in a crappy spot that's got a lot of bumpy land like we have, this thing's pretty good. I haven't really used it too much because, like, I felt like it was sort of underwhelming. But actually, it's a little bit underrated. I kind of like that little guy. He's not bad. I kind of like him. So do we have a drone hub down here? If we have a drone hub, I would dearly love to have that drone hub ready to go. So we'll get that drone hub a-rockin' so that we have kind of an operational area over here. That actually might be too far away. I think my drone hub is going to have to be near the rocket, which is a mistake. Probably put it right there so it's a little bit further back and it doesn't get caught by the dust storm when I launch this thing off in a little bit. And then we'll kind of just run a power right there. Looks good. That thing's going to require electronics, I think, to get it up and running. Is that thing, like, you guys, like, working on this? I need you guys to be working on this. If you ain't working on this, I kind of need you to be. Like, I'm fine with having extra drones or whatever, but, like, get that done, please. That's just outside the range. All right, looking good. And the other thing we're going to require over here is we're going to need another power line. Kind of just runs up to there so that we can access that water. Our first dome is going to be concerned with harvesting all these underground rare metals because I think we're going to be surviving largely off imports for a little while. This place is barren enough that we need to start selling gold as soon as possible just to kind of bolster our funds because I think we're going to be importing pretty much everything this playthrough. We have our power grid now. What you will notice about our power grid is that it's not looking especially powered. That's because I haven't really set up any objects to power it. So let's do that. I like to start out with solar panels. Other people can start out how they want to start out, but for me, I like solar panels for the reason that solar panels only require metal for their maintenance. All the other buildings require either machine parts or they require electronics for their maintenance. And that becomes a massive pain in the donger as time goes along before you've gotten like self-sufficient in building your own factories and kind of doing your own thing. And we're not going to have our own factories or our own production for a little while. So my suggestion is strongly to limit the amount of maintenance we have to do using polymers, machine parts, and electronics for as long as possible. We basically want our base to only run off of metals for like the first like 20 souls or so, 25 souls. If we have to use like 0.1 electronics a day or like 0.2 polymers a day, that's fine. Don't be like super phobic about those resources, but keeping them to a minimum for as long as possible until you can get your factories and your researches done is, in my opinion, the way to do it. That's how I tend to space things out. These drones will get to work in just a minute once the drone hub turns on. Unfortunately, the drone hub is being a bit of a slacker right now. And we're also waiting for the sun to come up, so that's going to be the other part of it. Are you still over here gathering metal? Oh, thank God, dude. You are my hero right now. You can be my hero, Truckee. You can pick away the metal. And our concrete factory is working now, so that's pretty sweet. God, we are just barely inside of the range for this. I am supremely hoping that this zone right here has something worthwhile in it. If it doesn't, like, this is a really, really bad map. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out and how long we can survive on such a terrible map, especially since I'm experienced with the game. I've played it quite a bit. And so a map like this, I see it as sort of a challenge, but for a new player, this would not be the map. This would not be the map. This would be a bad choice. And the next thing we need to do is we need to find water on Mars. Luckily, that's an easy job because we already found it, so there you go. I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to put that right there. And then the second thing that we need to do is we are going to take piping. And we're just going to kind of run this. I basically keep it connected to my main grid just so I can get it wherever it needs to go. Like so. I tend to keep my power lines and my water lines kind of on top of each other. The game seems to want you to do that because it has them up on these little stilts, and I think it looks neat and orderly and tidy, and so I prefer it that way. These guys, they can't be inside of range of one another. They produce, or yes, they can. Never mind. I'm thinking hygroscopic vaporators. These guys can be inside of a range of each other, but this ring that you're seeing is a dust ring. Anything inside that ring is going to take a whole bunch of dust damage. That has it right there too, as does our ship for when we decide to take off and burn into Atmo. The reason why we're trying to get these water excavators up as fast as possible is that we need to start producing fuel so we can get this rocket off the ground and back to Earth as fast as possible. That's going to give us options, so if we need to do like major supply runs, we can have this guy bring back cargo for us and just kind of like drop it. They didn't get any of the batteries built, huh? That's a disappointment. That means all my stuff's going to shut down again tonight. You've disappointed me. I wanted you guys to do the batteries first. Yeah, do the batteries first. Just prioritize the batteries, please. Now, we have an event, so we're going to want to look at that. A training program. With the early phase of our mission showing relative stability and gaining popularity back on Earth, our sponsor feels like a good position to push forward a training program aimed at attracting the best applicants Earth has to offer. Best of the best, as the program is being called, wants your input on what specialization field they should concentrate their recruitment efforts. Let's go with geologist, because I got to look out for the geology homies. I'm a geologist, and so like I got to look out for the job security of my people. Sorry, biology majors. Sorry, physicists. It's a click thing. It's a set thing, man. They're on my team, so I have to make sure that they're employed before you guys. Sorry, it is what it is. It is what it is. You would do the same thing. You would do the same thing. Don't deny it. You would do the same thing. No, I wish I could pick and choose right there. Like 5 of each would have been better. 15 geologists. There's not a whole lot I can do with 15 geologists. And we only have the one mine over here, and that's only going to take like 8. It's going to take like 8 workers. And so we have way more geologists than we actually have tangible need of right now. That mine is terrible right there, and I don't want to use it. Where's my truck at? Truck, come out here. I'm going to need more metal, dude. I need you to constantly be moving metal. I need to get over to here is where I need to get to. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to work in this direction and try to get after that mine right there. It has high-grade metal, which means we get much better yields out of the soil, I think. Pretty sure anyways. I think the grade determines how fast you can harvest it. If it's low grade, I think it needs like post-production processes in order to get it ready. Japan has already completed a milestone. How could they? How could they? The Japanese are actually really cool in this game. All of their drones fly. They have like Amazon delivery bots that fly everywhere, and they're a lot faster than the normal drones. I actually prefer the Japanese drones a lot. There we go. So we have power grid now. We're maxed out. I don't know if anybody's even trying to construct these over here, but I wish that they would start trying. I'll be honest with you. I really wish that they would start. Yeah, there you go. You guys should go off and there's a Oh, dude. Did that get any of my drones? It didn't get any of my drones. All right. I'm okay with that. As long as none of my drones got blowed up in the explosion, I don't mind at all. We can also, like, with these little dudes right here, you can actually change the way they look if you zoom in on them. So we can actually, like, look at this little guy right here. And that's my drone. I think this default is kind of adorable, so I tend to leave it right there. But you can also change it by clicking on this right here. You can change what color he is. So if you want to be like red or blue or whatever color. My favorite part is their little grabby arms, although you're not going to see it in this episode because we don't have any mineral deposits nearby. But like they go in and they do like this little happy cheering dance when they harvest metal out of the ground, and it's super adorable. I like to think that we live in a world where if we had robot drones that were doing our hard manual labor, they would at least look happy doing it. That's something that I believe in. That's something that, you know, I think is necessary. Let's go ahead and drop in a fuel refinery down here too. If I can fit it anywhere, that'd be great. Like a fuel refinery right there actually sounds pretty good. Go ahead and drop that guy right there so he doesn't take any dust damage when the rocket takes off. Pretty soon we're going to have landing pads for the rockets, so it's not even going to be that big of a deal. I would like to flatten this mountain right here, if I could. It's going to produce so much waste rock, though. Like, it's going to produce like a gnarly amount of waste rock getting rid of that mountain. And frankly, I have no idea what I'm going to do with all this waste rock. Later on, we can smelt it into metal. And, like, we can smelt it into other stuff, but that's not till way late game. So, are you guys, like, working on that? Is that going to get done anytime soon? I think we just don't have a lot of concrete right now. And they have a long transit path. That's not connected? It should be. Oh, yeah. I forgot to run the piping down this way because I didn't think I was going to build right there. And what did we learn? Splattercat always builds in places where he doesn't expect to build. There is both of our... Good. So both of those are now hooked up, but they have nowhere to send the water to. So what we need now is we're going to need water towers. I don't see any problem with kind of like dropping some water towers just like right there and making it happen. So there's our water towers. The next thing we're going to need is a couple of moxies. These are going to produce oxygen for our colonists. I think that should be outside the range of the dust right there. And then the final thing that I want to build is oxygen tanks to actually hold all the oxygen that we're going to be needing for our colonists. It's a pretty big build order, so it's going to take them a while to get it done. We actually don't have that many drones right now. I could do supply pods to like hot land a couple on the planet real fast and get it here, but I think I'd rather just wait it out for right now. So as of right now, we're putting it all together. It's looking good out here. It's looking real good. I'm thinking that I think this is probably a good place to settle the tab, kind of end the episode. We've got our basics in. The next thing that we're going to want to focus on is building ourselves a dome and getting some humans onto the red planet. My name is Splattercat. This right here is Surviving Mars with the Terraforming DLC. I will see you all next time. Thank you for stopping on in. It's been a blast, everybody. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like on it. It helps me out as a content creator a ton. And if you wanted to see more of this gameplay, I'll be playing it on Twitch this week at twitch.tv/SplatterCatGaming. I'll see y'all next time. Hi-do, and take care, everybody.